Hey everybody, I'm just sitting here with Charlie, one of my buddies. Yeah, today's video, Don't California My Denver, kind of speaks for itself. I'll be going into a lot of subjects that have to do with some of the changes that have been going on around here in Denver, my hometown. It's pretty sad. So, stick around. It's going to be very interesting. Alright, hello everybody. Today I want to just start by going over a subject to give a little bit of context to what's going on here in Denver. And, a big part of it is called gentrification. And what happens there is it's simple. They upgrade some of the older, cheaper properties where people could afford to live, and they upgrade them to a point to where people can't afford to live there. So we start running out of the lower income type housing, and it chases these people out of those neighborhoods, and it puts them in a way where they have to be in places where people don't want to look at them so much, maybe down at the mall or other places like that. So, that's what gentrification is. It's basically upgrading the poor people out of the neighborhood and pricing them out of the neighborhood. And that's basically a lot about what's going on here with the Californiazation of Denver. And that's what's been happening. Everybody heard a few months back how they had passed a law that would basically allow public urination and defecation anywhere you would like. I don't know how that goes with indecent exposure for some situations or whatever. I haven't looked into it. It's just disgusting. So anyhow, the law at hand that they're trying to pass, the election is on the 7th, just a couple days from now. I want people to be aware that along with legalizing magic mushrooms, which is, wow, why would they do that? Another situation is they want to repeal the law that banned urban camping. And that just meant that you couldn't have like a blanket on you, and you can't be laying on a public sidewalk, and you can't build a shelter in the park or have a tent, that kind of stuff. You could be there, but you couldn't be camped out there. And that's still another part where they only enforce it in parts where people don't want to look at homeless people. They kick them off the mall. They stick around too long and have a blanket or a piece of cardboard to block the wind or something. So that's basically what they use that law to do, is to chase the undesirables away from the places where they're trying to make money. So now they want to repeal that, and they want to also, along with the repeal in this new measure that they're voting on the 7th, they want to add more rights to protect the people that are doing the urban camping. So basically the police wouldn't be able to come up and ID them or search them or go through their stuff or anything like that. They would just have to be left to their devices as long as they're not creating some kind of a hindrance, blocking the sidewalk or, being in the way. That's basically the only criteria that would cause them to be removed. So the counterpoint to it is that basically anywhere you look that's not owned by a property owner privately, then it would be fair game for a guy to just come and pitch a tent and camp out there and live there without any type of a sanitation or anything set up to do that. So what we would have is along if anybody's familiar with the Denver area, there's like the South Platte River. It's just recently become more clean so that certain fish could be in there, and that would probably be undone by the large amount of camping and no sanitation situation going on. along the Platte River. I mean, we got all of these weird environmental issues and, you know, a lot of impact on people, the population. It's just not, either way you go, it's not working out for somebody. I mean, both sides can make a huge case that they're right. And, you know, I can agree with a lot of stuff on both sides. You know, the Denver Post has an article out, you know, and it just says it's one of Denver's most expensive political fights. I mean, people are pumping a lot of money into this. There's a lot at stake here, I guess. It's I don't know if it's even a right or left issue. I can't see it being a partisan situation. It's just, where are you at on it? Because both situations have their humanitarian downside. That's for sure. You could argue that just allowing them to camp and not encouraging them more forcefully to get help kind of leaves them in a situation where they're probably not going to do their best, probably at risk. And the counter argument to that is people don't want to go to a shelter. They don't want the help. They just feel that they should be allowed to live their life in destitution if they want, or on the streets, or however you want to put it. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to walk outside and just see a guy in a tent across the street. I wouldn't want to be that guy either. So, you know, that's my point, and I want you all to get out there and vote on the 7th. If you live in Denver, this is really going to affect you quite a bit, and it's going to affect the curfew. You know, if people are allowed to be on the street late at night, or if there's a different criteria for the police to contact folks they see walking around in the middle of the night. You know, a lot of things will change, and maybe not for the better. So I'll keep you posted. There's a great article here in the Denver Post that you can read. You know, it's titled "Homeless Ban, Camping Ban Quickly Becoming One of the Most Expensive Political Fights in Denver's History." It's getting there. There's hundreds of millions of dollars being pumped into this, from last I checked, or at least millions. I'm not sure. And there's also a great article in the Westword too that also goes into some of the personal stories of the people that have dealt with the old law of the camping ban and been put aside from being in society's view. They seem to think that is the best way to address the problem, is to get it out of sight. And when the problem gets out of sight, it gets much worse. So, you know, I don't want these people hiding in the corners, and I certainly don't want them sprawled out all over the park. What are we going to do? What are they going to do? So I'd be interested to hear in the comments what y'all might think of this, especially if you do live in Denver, because I do. I grew up here, and it's turning into quite a weird place. That's why I put, you know, the title is, you know, "Don't California My Denver," because I think it's quickly becoming, you know, something similar to what you might see in the news on, you know, what's happening in San Francisco, or even Seattle is starting to get that way. Portland is really on the downswing too, as far as you know, the poverty rate and the number of people just with no place to be. It's spreading everywhere. You see it coming up in places that you don't even expect. And you know, the old saying goes, what happens in California is just a precursor to what ends up happening for the rest of the country. And I'm telling you right now, Denver seems to be like the coming out point for, okay, we've we've created this craziness in California. Now let's launch it. Where do we go? Let's go to Denver, and that's the springboard to just spread all of these weird policies and ideas across the whole country, and it seems to be a detriment. If you look at the situation in California, it's not working for anyone. So, please like, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next video, probably tomorrow. Thank you.